Of course, TriGGeR has really excelled in recent time. And now it's gonna be on JonSnow here. You know, it's a battle of the ages. It's JonSnow, you know, the old man who's been here for 10 years, against TriGGeR. Literally the first year competing for him, and he's just looking insane. He's like Patty Mac was last year. Up and comers, mate. Go TriGGeR. I want to see him in the season finals, mate. He's deserving to be there. 100%. And here we go. Our very first best of 5 qualifying match of the day. We have, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, the Canadian Protoss. As I quickly update, there we go. The Canadian Protoss player, he's yellow, representing Team Alpha X. It is TriGGeR. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the American Zerg player representing Psystorm Gaming. It is JonSnow. Oh my. So again, I haven't seen JonSnow compete recently, but of course he has been laddering consistently, getting ready for DreamHack. How will he do against TriGGeR? TriGGeR, an up-and-coming player on top of the NA ladder, one of the best Protosses in North America, arguably top 3, easily top 4. What the hell does JonSnow have in store for us? Again, we've seen how aggressive he can be. TriGGeR, I imagine we're going to see some Skytoss. We're on Jagannatha. Of course we're going to see some Skytoss, right? Question mark? Should happen, should happen. You know, I see already in the chat in Zerg, we trust Liquid TriGGeR. There's some people cheering for JonSnow, others for TriGGeR. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. But we'll see. We'll see where this takes us. As of course, things are pretty normal so far. JonSnow didn't go for an early pool, no like 12 pool or pool first or anything like that. So JonSnow is being pretty standard at the moment, which is interesting to me, to say the least, that he didn't decide to go for something a little bit more aggressive. I guess maybe on a map like Jagannatha, he doesn't really need to. He wants to go into that mid game a little bit more economic focused. And we'll see if TriGGeR decides to go for that Stargate or decides to go for a Twilight Council instead. Again, we're casting a lot of TriGGeR these past couple of months. Oh boy, and there it is. We have a Stargate. TriGGeR, he's been winning weekly events like Battle of the Americas, Batalla de las Americas. Winning, I don't think he's won an Exxon Cup, but I know he's taken down pretty big names there. Oh boy. And here we go, it is the Stargate. Of course it is. Meanwhile, JonSnow is diving in with his Overlord to make sure he scouts whatever's in the main base. We do have a Stalker on the way, but it's not going to come out in time. It looks like this Overlord will be able to scout the Stargate. And then the question becomes, yo, are we going to see how many Void Rays? How many Oracles? Are we going to see how many Stargates? Are we going to see double Stargate Oracle, Void Ray? Are we going to see just one into Glaive Adepts? We'll find out. At the same time, we have an Adept that does shade, doesn't commit to the shade into the main base, just kind of checking, confirming that his opponent did go up to 3 bases. TriGGeR was in Osu practice. TriGGeR does play a lot of Osu, this is true. I remember when we finished the Taiwan-Hong Kong closed qualifier last night, I was looking for the people to raid, and I saw TriGGeR, I'm like, oh, I'll raid TriGGeR, and he was playing Osu. And it's like, mate, mate, really? God damn it. You know, we do have a bit of a Ling runway. Ooh, the Adept does go down, so he is going to force the Void Ray to come home and deal with these things. Oh, can they get the pylon? Oh, they will. The pylon goes down. Oh my god. TriGGeR, mate, what's going on? Meanwhile, we have a second Void Ray on the way. I imagine we're going to see a third. So far, it's looking like we may. Yep, double Stargate. Let's go. Going straight into those Void Rays. So, TriGGeR should be fine against this Ling Harass. Meanwhile, the Void Rays do reveal themselves to JonSnow, so what is JonSnow's response here? He's getting spores just to defend his mineral lines. He has a decent amount of queens. Let me quickly check. He has 6 queens right now, which is okay. He's working on a lair. He has 4 gases. I'm curious if he's the kind of player to go for a Hydra timing or to go straight into Corruptors. I imagine Hydras because he's also working on an Evo chamber. He should be going towards +1 range, but we'll see. Yep, there it is. +1 range. We should be seeing a Hydra push coming out from JonSnow or Hydraless Den. Yep, there it is. So there are pros and cons to this strategy, right? Obviously, you're going to have a lot of anti-air. You're going to have a lot of queens and a lot of Hydras, and you're going to hit hard. The problem is that this is kind of weak against charge lots, which are on the way. We're going to see charge lots to help support these Void Rays. This is a little bit old school. This is like maybe 5 months ago that we saw a lot of this dynamic play out. The problem with the Hydras is that there's like a limited period of time where they're useful, and then you got to get out of them. Then you got to get to the Corruptors. You got to kill your opponent or just get out of it. So we'll see. Right now, TriGGeR doesn't know. He hasn't scouted the main base. He should take note of the lack of roaches though. So because there aren't roaches to buffer for the Hydras, that makes it easier for these charge lots to get on top of the Hydras and just evaporate them. Meanwhile, ooh, the Void Rays do come in, do force a cancel on the 4th base. Nicely done here by TriGGeR, doesn't lose any of his Void Rays. And we see a Templar Archives. Like, this is what's terrifying. Ooh, he's mixing things up though. So I saw the Infestation Pit and I assumed that JonSnow was going to try and go Hydra Viper. You get an Infestation Pit, you go straight into Hive, and then you go straight into Vipers, and then you hit a timing with Vipers and Hydras. But no, he's going for Infestors. Hold on. Does he want to use Microbial Shroud? Is that the play here? It's one of two things, right? It's either, as we do see TriGGeR, he does force another cancel here on the 4th. Oh god, just barely escapes with every single one of his Void Rays, does recall. But, like, that's what I have to wonder. What's the plan with these Infestors? Does he plan to Fungal or Microbial Shroud? Because the time for Microbial Shroud is gone, mate. Storm is on the way. And Fungal against the Void Rays and Zealots? I guess it could work. No, yeah, it can totally work. Yeah, okay, I dig it. I'm on board, JonSnow, I'm on board. Obviously, it's gonna be all about the execution, right? That's what this is all about. Can the Infestors get close enough to use any of their spells? Or are they gonna get close and then get feedbacked and die? So there is gonna be this weird dance between the Infestors and the High Templar. High Templar, of course, feedbacks are so good. These queens are going for a bit of a walk. This is, I don't know about this. All right, yo, it's go time. Let's go. Hydras do get scouted by the Zealots. TriGGeR is well aware what's the defensive setup looking like. We have 3, 4 shield batteries and 2 cannons. Mate, he's looking solid. Feedbacks land on the Infestors. No Fungals, no Microbial Shroud. Oh my god, but you know what? There's barely anything left here on the ground. You know what? You may not even need those spells here as the Hydras are pushing forward, but Overcharge is being used. TriGGeR, he barely has any supply right now. He's trying to hold with the bare minimum. He needs a little bit longer for some storms. God, those High Templar gathering so much energy or just barely enough, and it looks like, yo, he gives up the base. He gives up the 4th. He just needs time. He needs time for those storms. Does he have it? He does! He can storm! One storm does land. Looks like he's gonna have enough for 2 more storms surely. There it is, the 2nd. 1 more, uno más. Oh, he just doesn't have enough. The Void Rays are going down. And even though I was talking about those charge ups earlier, it's just TriGGeR barely had any supply. He saw the army coming, but it was just a little bit too late. But can he still hold here? Again, he hasn't really lost any economic damage. He hasn't lost any workers. Ooh, loses an immortal. Again, a little bit more time. He's being so patient with these High Templar. He comes in, he does storm the army. 1 more storm left. Oh, it does land, and that is it. That is the final storm for TriGGeR. I was talking about how he's keeping his workers alive. Never mind, 14 probes have gone down. And TriGGeR, he's trying his best here to hold on. Overcharge is keeping whatever he can alive, but he only has 3 units, an Immortal, an Archon, and a Void Ray. And the Hydras do not stop. The Nexus does fall. JonSnow was able to hit this Hydra timing. And TriGGeR just wasn't ready for it. He was almost ready for it, to be fair. He was getting a lot of stack defense, getting High Templar, getting charge lots, but just wasn't enough. Just barely, and GG gets called. JonSnow takes game 1. That was close. GG. TriGGeR was doing a really good job at denying the 4th base of JonSnow. Unfortunately, he didn't have an eye on the army. And that's the risk you take when you don't go for an Oracle out of your Stargates. Because he didn't have an Oracle, he didn't really have much vision out on the map. He didn't have an Observer. And what I'm alluding to is that he didn't see how big that Hydra count was getting. So he didn't know like how pressured he really was to just get a defense up. Oh, as we're missing someone. Oh, let's get him in here. So yeah, he only caught a glimpse of the Hydras when they were already coming across the map, and we're on Jagannatha where there are speed zones, mate. So TriGGeR, he was trying his best to defend with the bare minimum. He almost did, but just wasn't enough. Meanwhile, I'm going to sip on some tea. And here we go, spawning in on 2000 atmospheres LE. In the top right hand corner, we have the Canadian Protoss player. He is yellow, representing Team Alpha X. It is TriGGeR. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of 2000 atmospheres LE, we have the American Zerg player representing Psystorm Gaming. Already up 1-0, but it is a best of 5. It is JonSnow. Oh boy. As we are now getting into game number 2. It's a bit of a shame. I feel like TriGGeR was playing out his game. He just didn't see the army, right? He had the tools that he needed. You know, he was getting charge for his zealots. He was getting storm for his High Templar. If he had known what was coming, he would have, you know, warped in a couple more times. You know, get an extra wave of zealots in there. Maybe get some more High Templar. Maybe get some Archons. Whatever you need to just to hold on. Unfortunately, he had to give up on his 4th base pretty early on, and he wasn't able to utilize his stack defense there to its fullest potential. That was really the biggest downfall there for TriGGeR. But I mean, he was forced to give it up, right? He just didn't have enough to fight the Hydras. Amazing feedbacks though, amazing. And here we go. What's gonna happen here in game number 2? I wouldn't be surprised if TriGGeR goes for Stargate again. I did cast TriGGeR, I believe it was a week ago, in OSC Super Series Battle of the Americas, TriGGeR versus Ryu, and it went all the way to the ace match. Ryu, of course, being our boy. And Ryu also is very good against Skytoss, and TriGGeR is the kind of player to just go for it every game. That's just kind of what he does. That's his bread and butter. And sure, he may have failed in game 1, but I'm sure he knows that he could have executed that a little bit better, and he's going to try and try again. As we have the second Stargate on the way. TriGGeR being a little bit annoying here, but oh, the probe does fall. Oh, JonSnow getting his 3rd over here at the triangular base. Interesting. And we'll see if JonSnow goes for the same push. So again, JonSnow's push hit a little bit faster and a little bit harder on Jagannatha due to those slow zones. The map did 100% come into play there. Now in 2000 atmospheres, there are no slow zones, and there are Xel'Naga towers, which means that if TriGGeR has a couple of units here, he will see the army coming well ahead of time. It's a little bit easier to scout those move-outs on this map, unless I go through the middle. So yeah, I do think that TriGGeR will have an easier time here on this map, and I think it's going to be a little bit harder for JonSnow to go for that ground-based push again. But we'll see. We'll see if JonSnow goes for it, or if he has something else in store for us against Skytoss. If it is Skytoss. Ooh, as the Zealots actually find a Stalker here. TriGGeR, he's slipping up. Losing a Stalker, losing an Adept. Nice positioning, but oh god, not enough. The Adept, its hips are not wide enough. And the Adept goes down as well. My god. So TriGGeR does open up with a Void Ray, and I like this. TriGGeR, he is mixing things up here in this series. He is not going double Stargate Void Ray, single Stargate straight into a Robo and a Twilight Council. So we'll keep an eye on the gateways and see how many gateways get thrown down. This is most likely, there's a couple of extra gateways that are thrown down. This is most likely Glaive Adepts. We have seen massive Glaive Adept pushes off of Stargate openings. Oh my god, meanwhile JonSnow finding a lot of damage with these Lings. Ooh, and JonSnow going for a Roach Warren. Okay, I like this. It makes sense. He's seen only one Void Ray, so he knows that it's not double Stargate Void Ray, or it's not a big commitment to Void Rays whatsoever. Does he know that it's Glaive Adepts? He doesn't, and he shouldn't, because that's not what it is. I just realized I should have been paying attention to the gases. Only one probe mining gas here, 0 here. Is charge. Charge lots are on the way. Oh my, drone please. Yo, 6 drones? 6 drones? 7? JonSnow, please watch your rally, buddy. All that early damage that he was doing with his Lings immediately nullified. Like, that's crazy. Oh my god. Now here we go. Mass charge lots are warping in here for TriGGeR. JonSnow, what's his vision? He hasn't scattered whatsoever. He does go for a Ling run by, and these Lings are going to deal a lot of damage. Warpins were just used across the map, and here comes TriGGeR. What is it to defend? Right now, these Queens are isolated, barely have any energy for transfuse. They could all go down, but the Roaches are on the way. JonSnow has to just buy a little bit more time for those Roaches. Charge just finishing up in time for this attack. The Zealots, they do get on top of some of this army, but again, the choke point is pretty good. They're not getting very good surface area on the Queens, but now the Queens are starting to fall. Not enough energy for those transfuses. The Zealots are pushing through. Oh my god, these 2 Queens, mate, they're gonna go down. The Void Ray is wreaking havoc. The problem is that, again, if these Queens fall, then there is no anti-air for the Void Ray. Oh my god, and that's exactly what is happening right now. The Zealots are just too much here. JonSnow had no idea about these Zealots because the Overlords were sniped. He did not get into the main base. And now, mate, Zealots are all you need. As the Zealots are in the natural, they're breaking through into the main base. And I think that's all she wrote, mate. There's no way. There's nothing left. GG gets called. And just like that, TriGGeR ties up the series. Oh my. Just watching the replay. I guess the stream. GG JonSnow. Oh my god. He was in the dark. He didn't know what he was up against. Didn't help that he rallied a bunch of workers to his death. To their death. But yeah, TriGGeR. He brought it back. We're tied up. 1-1. And here we go. It looks like game number 3 is going to be on Lightshade. This is going to determine who will have a bit of a lead here, as right now we're tied up 1-1. who is going to be able to take that lead here in this series between these two players. So far, both games have kind of been a battle of scouting. JonSnow, he had no idea that there was a charge roll incoming. Game 1, TriGGeR, he didn't have eyes on when the army was pushing out. It's all about that vision, mate. And speaking of vision, here we have someone with very good vision, maybe, question mark, because he's so young, I don't know. Spawning in the bottom right, we have the Canadian Protoss. He is yellow, representing Team Alpha X. It is TriGGeR. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade Airly. Oh my, going for a 12 pool. We have the American Zerg representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is JonSnow. Oh my. So this makes a lot of sense. We are on Lightshade. Lightshade is not the shortest rush distance map in the map pool. You know, Beckett Industry has that title, but it is the second shortest. The rush distance is very small on this map. It's pretty straightforward. TriGGeR, thankfully, is going for a probe scout. He will be able to see the 12 pool. As long as he goes into the main. Here we go, as the probe is going across the map. He has eyes on this drone. He ignores the drone. I love it. Goes, oh, mate, go up there. Go up there. Oh, no. No. The probe is busy here on the low ground. He thinks he's denying a base, which he kind of is. And he spots the Lings. He knows. 12 pool. So the Lings are running across the map. These, oh, the probe gets taken out. Oh, not good. We do have a full wall off. Zealot is on the way. Are we going to see some probes pulled here to help keep this Zealot alive? Right now, only one probe. He's getting ready to wall off just in case. Getting ready for the worst. Lings do show up. This probe is crucial just to make sure this Zealot doesn't get surrounded. Ooh. Jesus Christ. Up. The Zealot, oh no, two Lings do get in. Oh my god, and he will get surrounded. The Zealot will fall. A second Zealot joins just in time. Is it gonna be enough? As the first Zealot will just, no, it doesn't even go down. It goes down, but it took a lot of Lings. TriGGeR will, oh no, where are you going? Puppy, please. Zealot, come back home. Oh my god, the Lings, they get in. They're focusing down the pylon. The Adept will come out in time though, thank god. The Adept should be able to clean this up. I was worried for nothing. Zealot knows exactly what he's doing. He's going across the map. These things will be cleaned up by the Adept. Ooh, can they get a drone? They do get a worker. TriGGeR losing a little bit more than he should, but TriGGeR is still in a good position. He is still ahead economically. The Zealot does go across the map, and I love this. He checks the natural, checks the third bases. He confirms that JonSnow is still only on 2 bases. Here comes the Adept. I say Adept, I mean Adepts. 3 Adepts in total, and 1 Zealot. Is this enough to break this queen? Honestly, I think so. No Ling speed, but a second queen is about to show up, and once that does show up, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for these gateway units to really do anything. As right now, the Zealot is kind of distracting the queens. They do get 1 drone. He commits to the shade, gets straight to the main base. More drones are going down. Oh god, this is disastrous here for JonSnow. A lot of drones going down. 5, 6 drones, and even more. Oh my god. No mining going on right now, and he even commits to the shade, and he escapes. And he will escape because, again, no Ling speed. We should escape, yeah. 8 drones go down. JonSnow was already in a bad economic position because of the 12 pool. And now it's looking even worse. JonSnow, he's not even mining gas. There we go. Finally, he resumes gas mining. He needs that gas for his next step in the game. Meanwhile, the Stalkers do show up. Oh my god, does he get to the Overlord? He gets the Overlord. We do have 3 queens, and the 3 queens are able to push away whatever's left of TriGGeR's army, the quote-unquote army. But now we have a Void Ray on the way. And I feel like 1, 2, 3 Void Ray is like they could end the game, especially if JonSnow stops queen production. He has 4, which is pretty good. Still only has 2 hatcheries. Does scout with the Overlord, or he does have an Overlord across the map, which is important. Definitely. Third base is on the way. JonSnow, to be fair, he put himself in this situation with the toilet pool. You know, high risk, high reward, right? That sort of thing. But, oh boy, he's struggling here. I tried set by Skylar. No! Skylar, please! Do I dare refresh the brackets? I do dare. Oh my god. No, Semper 2-0 Skylar! Oh god. Meanwhile, as we get back into this game, mate, we got a link flood. We have nothing but links coming across the map. Again, no third hatchery. JonSnow is all in right now. And TriGGeR, he still has no idea. These adepts, they need to scout. They need to see how few workers there are at the natural base. But it could be too late, because here come the lings. Finally, they reveal themselves. What are the fences looking like? Okay, we do have a couple of shield batteries on the way. We have 3 shield batteries on the way. Can he hold the line? He does have overcharge. Yo, it's going to be pretty difficult for JonSnow to break into the natural. Not going to lie. Like, this is not working. It's a meat grinder right now. There's, oh my god, so many links go down. At the same time, the adepts are across the map and they are focusing down as many drones as possible. The queens finally show up. But again, god, they're so slow. They do have a lot of energy for transfuse. They are throwing down those transfuses. He only has 2 left. 1 left. Oh my god, and the void rays are just not dying. There it is. There is the last transfuse. This queen will fall. GG gets called, and TriGGeR takes the lead in this series 2-1. Wow. Easy for TriGGeR. You can't do this to me, JonSnow. I mean, JonSnow, to be fair, what he went for made sense. After losing so many workers early on in the game, it's like, mate, I gotta go all in. Like, what am I gonna do? Try and macro against TriGGeR? Really? Is that really what I'm gonna do? So he goes for the link flood, but you know, shield batteries are pretty good. He just could not break into the natural. GG. And now we are loading into game number 4, potentially the final game of the series. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the Canadian Protoss. He's yellow, representing Alpha X. It is TriGGeR. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the American Zerg player. He is red, representing Psystorm Gaming. And right now it's on JonSnow to bring it back here. Can he bring it all the way to the ace match? It is JonSnow. Didn't know JonSnow race was Terran? What? Separate plate toss, no Terran. Yes. So for those wondering, there was a period where Semper switched to Protoss. It was a brief period of like maybe 6 months or so, and recently he switched back to Terran, I believe. Oh wait, no, actually, I guess he race switches, right? No, yeah. He switched back to Terran. He had fun as Protoss for a while, but he's back. Let's like catch up on the chat. Didn't JonSnow race was Terran? No, he's always been Zerg, as far as I can remember. Unless you're thinking of another Terran player like Vindicta or Future. Have a nice stream. You've had my hour. Thank you so much, Samu. I appreciate it. Hope you have a good day. Is this best of 5 or best of 3? Best of 5. This is the qualifying match. Winner of this series will move on to the DreamHack main event, where they will join the best players of North America. Players like Scarlet, like Neeb, like Estrella, like Namshar. Not TLO. TLO declined his invite. But yeah. They'll be going to that main event where they will be casted by the premier casters of the likes of Nathanius, Katz, Rotterdam, Pig, maybe. I know it's not the best time for Pig, but yeah, that they will. And we'll see how this game progresses. So far, TriGGeR has been a little bit annoying. You know, he was denying the natural base, forces the unnatural natural. And TriGGeR, once again, is going for that Stargate. Because if it ain't broke, then fix it, mate. Enough with the Stargate. We should see a Void Ray coming out. We should be the Overlords denied. And then we'll see where we go from there. TriGGeR, he has shown off his Charger all-ins. He has shown off his Sky Toss. Shown off his Glaive Adepts. We'll see. Meanwhile, JonSnow, he's tried being the aggressor, but he hasn't had the best of luck. Being the reactor is kind of the way to go here as a Zerg player. And I imagine that's kind of how JonSnow is approaching this. Really kind of waiting to see what the hell TriGGeR is going to do. Boy, there we go. First Void Ray's on the way. I mean, big surprise, right? A Void Ray? Okay, here we go. Overlord dives in. He takes note of the gas counts. Hey, you're only on 2 gases. Backs off. And here we go. Third base gets thrown down for TriGGeR. Immediately, Lings do pounce on it. We'll see. It looks like they will be able to get a pylon. Get a pylon. No, okay. They focus on the they focus on the Nexus instead. And they will be forced away. Second Void Ray on the way. Both other gases are being taken. Ooh, it looks like JonSnow will scout the gases. And with this second Void Ray, we should see, yep, there it is. The second Stargate. So TriGGeR is going to try again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. And then try again. And then keep trying until eventually you do succeed, I guess. TriGGeR tried this in game number 1, and JonSnow shut this down with a Hydra timing. We'll see if JonSnow does something similar, as he's going for a Roach Warren. He did scout both gases, so I mean now he sees both Void Rays, so he knows it is double Stargate Void Ray. Ooh, one queen immediately going down. Not a good start here. These queens do not have enough energy for transfuse. Or at least one queen does, but they do force away the Void Rays. Already the Void, yeah, this is what I mean. Like, honestly, I think TriGGeR could have fought there. But now there are 4 queens, so he's gonna have a harder time. Ooh, oh god, don't stick around, TriGGeR, please! What are you doing? No! Oh my god! TriGGeR was too busy microing his adepts. Sure, he got 2 drones, but he lost the Void Ray. I feel like the Void Ray is a little bit more important. Not gonna lie. Oh my god. TriGGeR losing 1 Void Ray, the second Void Ray almost immediately going down as well. Not a good start, especially when we have a Roach Queen push coming across the map. You need everything you can get, mate. He does scout the push. Oh my god, loses another Void Ray. TriGGeR, he's falling apart, mate. The Lings, they get across the map, they get into the third base, forces a warp in. Gonna be able to focus on that shield battery, which matters so much. I think this may just be over, mate. I don't know. The queens are coming across the map. It looks like TriGGeR is getting ready to abandon his third base. He has a bunch of shield batteries being thrown down at the natural. But this is already a bad start, losing 2 Void Rays for free. Here we go. Here are the queens. The Lings and the Ravagers are trying to hit the third base. I mean, it's going to be all about the positioning here for TriGGeR. Oh, one of the Void Rays takes a lot of damage. Oh my god, please! The Void Ray! Oh, he gets taken out once again. He just wasn't close enough to the shield batteries to keep it alive. Oh my god, TriGGeR really messing up here. And I mean, overcharge is being used and there are a lot of shield batteries, so maybe TriGGeR can still hold at the natural despite everything. Oh my god, the Biles land though! Oh my god, he does soak up the Biles. He's going for the queens. He loses another Void Ray. He just keeps losing these Void Rays, but you know what? Protoss may still be OP. God, please, puppy. Oh god, there are only 4 queens left, so it looks like these queens are going to fall. Meanwhile, the majority of the probes were evacuated. Oh my god, again, TriGGeR! Loses the Void Ray. Okay, he actually escapes with that one at least, but very shaky defense so far. If he manages to defend that, I'd be amazed, to be honest, but like, JonSnow has dealt the damage. He killed the base, he killed the third, he's backing off, he's droning up. Oh my god. Okay, the Biles don't land on the Void Rays. That TriGGeR is going across the map with whatever he has. Hydrogen is on the way. It's not done yet. JonSnow is only relying on queens to defend, and 4 of those queens are still waddling across the map. They are not at home, so now TriGGeR, he's kind of all in here. He needs to try and end it. Dies on one of the queens. The queen will fall. How many more? Oh god, as the rest of the queens do join the fray. There are far too many queens here. If TriGGeR does get pushed away, TriGGeR, because he was able to keep the majority of his workers alive, like his worker count is looking pretty good. He is down in supply, but oh god, he's using another Void Ray. Like, imagine this push with 4 more Void Rays, you know? He could be making some magic. He could be winning the game with 4 more Void Rays. Oh my god. It would be a completely different scenario right now. Meanwhile, TriGGeR, he's trying to find some damage. He does have map control. JonSnow is forced to stay at home, so TriGGeR, he can get back into this. He isn't dead by any means. He could have just been in a better position. As he's continuing to pump out more and more Void Rays, I just worry for TriGGeR because the Hydrogen is done, and that Hydra count is getting higher and higher. I don't think TriGGeR has an answer. He's working on charge lots, which is great, but he needs more time. He needs more supply. He needs more money. He's trying to focus down the base. He's not going to get it. Yeah, loses 2 Void Rays trying. Every single Void Ray matters so much right now, especially in this like low army scenario. And now it's go time. Let's go. JonSnow is going to go across the map. I say that, he kind of splits up his army. Because he doesn't have vision of the Void Rays, he doesn't know if they're going to come back in and snipe the hatchery. So this is a good thing for TriGGeR. But the Void Rays do reveal themselves. Alright, let's go. JonSnow, he all army hotkeys. Let's go with everything we have. Let's see if things can be a little bit different here. I love the sentries. Again, there's no Ravagers, so sentries can cut the army in half. Oh, meanwhile, oh god, there's still a lot of queens, a lot of transfuse energy, and a lot of hydras. We have a couple of upgrades on the way for the Void Rays, but they're not going to finish. And it's not happening. And here come the hydras. They stutter step up the ramp. Decent force fields. Meanwhile, here come the Void Rays. Overcharges being used to keep everything alive. The queens, they are going to town, but you know what? The queens are starting to fall. They have already wasted all of their energy, but there are still so many hydras. I just don't know if he can handle the hydras. Maybe he can. The overcharge, it does run out, but was it enough? The hydras are pushing up the ramp. A lot of queens and a lot of hydras have already gone down. I kind of want TriGGeR to pivot around and fight with the rest of these shield batteries at the natural base. Ooh, Cybercore will be denied as well. Will be sniped, and +1 fire attack will be denied. And there are just far too many hydras here. He stutter steps into the natural base. A handful of zealots do come in, but I think that's all she wrote. I think this is the end of the end. GG gets called, and JonSnow ties up the series 2-2. TriGGeR really struggling there. I've seen TriGGeR defend better than that. We've all seen him play better than that in general. I don't know if it's nerves, which it could be because TriGGeR is 1 map away from qualifying. But he needs to take a moment to breathe and just calm down, all right? He needs to calm down, because that initial Void Ray defense, was not like a 6k Protoss Void Ray defense, you know? Like, that's not... We expect better from TriGGeR, mate. He's got to tighten up here in the ace match. If he wants to qualify for the main event, go do better than that, mate. And here we go. The ace match, game 5. It's going to be on Blackburn. Can he do it? Can he pull it off here? Or will JonSnow make his return to the DreamHack main event? Oh boy, as we are loading in. Again, I know TriGGeR has it in him, but this is an awkward map, to say the least. So we'll see how things go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Blackburn ALE, we have the Canadian Protoss player. He has yellow representing Team Alpha X. It is TriGGeR. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Blackburn ALE, we have a player who was on the brink of defeat, but he has brought it back to the ace match. The American Zerg representing Psystorm Gaming. It is JonSnow. Oh boy. So we're on Blackburn for the ace match, which is interesting to say the least. I imagine that TriGGeR did not want this map to play out. I imagine he wanted to avoid Blackburn. There's a reason why it's the last map. There are pros and cons, right? The rush distance by air is pretty short, so going for a Void Rays can hit pretty hard. It can hit pretty quickly. Obviously, there are slow zones, so you can be caught out when you retreat by queens, but in general, like, you can take advantage of this. On the other side of things, we also have gold bases. Gold bases can come into play, especially for Zerg players. Again, minerals aren't the best resource for Protoss, but they're amazing for Zerg, especially when you're going for queen pushes. You want as many minerals as possible to just pump out nothing but queens, roaches. Again, this gold base, it can come into play, so TriGGeR has to make sure he has eyes on it. Make sure that JonSnow doesn't get away with it if he does expand in that direction. And yes, it is a great match. I mean, mate, we knew that this was the match to follow. We knew that we should follow Skylar versus JonSnow into most likely TriGGeR, and that is what happened. Going all the way to the ace match. Oh boy, oh boy. And we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to TriGGeR going for a Stargate opening, but is he bold enough to go for a more aggressive opening here? To go for a more aggressive style in the ace match? The answer is no. As a Stargate gets thrown down. Meanwhile, JonSnow is going for his third base. Not at the gold, but at the northern base, the vertical base, if you will, which is interesting. So if JonSnow was setting up prematurely for a queen push, ideally you take the triangular third. It's closer to your opponent, and what's important about that is it's like a launch pad for your creep spread, so you can just spread creep ASAP across the map and just hit your opponent as soon as possible with your queens. So because JonSnow expanded to the north instead, it leads me to believe that he's not really planning to go for that anytime soon. Obviously, he still could go for a queen push, but again, he's not setting himself up for the best case scenario. I guess he's assuming that he won't need to do something like that. We'll see. As, oh my, we see why we have a very fast, oh my god, a very fast Evo chamber. We could be seeing a link flood. Of course, we do have a couple of links on the way here, but again, a fast Evo chamber like this, it's gonna be for +1 melee, right? Right? There it is, +1 melee. Yo, JonSnow, he is not gonna let this game go on for much longer. But no matter which way it goes, the game is gonna end pretty soon. TriGGeR, this is dangerous. He's getting a third base. He's expanding right now. He has no idea. He hasn't scouted anything across the map. He hasn't sent an adept. And because of that, he's in the dark. Meanwhile, we have nothing but Lings going to be coming out here for JonSnow. I wouldn't be opposed to a Baneling Nest as well. Meanwhile, we do have a second Stargate on the way for TriGGeR. TriGGeR will have a bunch of Void Rays to defend his natural base. I think his third base is going to be forfeit. +1 melee is still a ways away, so I mean, it's going to take a while for that to really kick in. But regardless, the Lings do hit the third. And it looks like they may force a cancel. The Void Rays do come in though. The Void Rays will be able to hold on to the third for now. But again, so far this is all pretty normal. This is all pretty standard. Nothing is really blowing off alarm bells for TriGGeR. But they should soon, because now here come just so many more Lings. Oh boy, oh boy. So it's going to be on JonSnow to make sure he hides these Lings from the Void Rays as best he can. There it is, there's a Baneling Nest. God, we got a Bane Bust on the way. Lings again rushing across the map. Oh my god, they're gonna surround on the Adepts! Oh, thankfully the shield battery is keeping these Adepts alive for a little bit longer, and they will be able to do that, but the shield battery does go down. Oh my god, no! TriGGeR, please! Not like this! Not in the qualifying match! The Lings, they slip into the bases! All the Lings get cleaned up in the natural. They will get cleaned up here in the main as well, but oh god, again, not ideal. +1 melee is about to finish. We have 18 Lings on the way. Baneling Nest is about to finish up as well by the time the Lings get across the map. There they go, they're already hiding towards the north. Gonna be morphing into those Banes. Oh my god. Meanwhile, TriGGeR, he is moving out with his Void Rays. Does he see this? No, he does not. He may catch some reinforcements, just barely. Oh, he does. And if he clicks on them, he will see +1 melee. So now he knows. But the Banelings are being morphed in, looking to waddle into that third base. Meanwhile, behind this, JonSnow, he's expanding. He's taking that gold. I love it. But you know what? It looks like it may be denied. Oh, yeah. TriGGeR comes in at the same time the Banelings are waddling in. TriGGeR does respond. He doesn't pull a Maru. Oh, but the Banelings do connect beautifully with the sack defense. The Lings are flooding in. Of course, they do have +1 melee, so they hit that much harder. They are all going across the map, looking to get rid of all the workers at this third base. Oh my god, the workers, they are trying to evacuate towards the natural, but there are just so many Lings here. There is a full wall here with these stalkers, but for how much longer the Lings they want in? But it looks like they won't be able to, question mark. Oh my god. Just barely. TriGGeR does hold. Only loses 9 workers. Honestly, not too bad. Could have been a lot worse. I'm sure JonSnow was hoping it would be worse. Meanwhile, fun fact, I thought JonSnow had another base here. It's just a blob of queens. JonSnow is expanding to the north instead, a little bit safer to defend against Void Rays. But really well done there. Like, that +1 timing was supposed to deal a lot more damage. And it did deal some damage. It did kill 9 workers. You know, it destroyed a bunch of pylons and shield batteries, and it forced TriGGeR to panic a little bit. But TriGGeR, he held well. Oh boy. Meanwhile, TriGGeR is going for a robotic spade. I don't know how I feel about this. This is great against, you know, Roach, Ravager, Queen pushes, even Hydras, right? We see JonSnow is committing to melee upgrades, which is interesting. He's going for +2 melee. He's getting +1 carapace. He's sticking with Ling Queen to defend. Odd choice. But we see why. He is also going for Infestors. Odd composition. I don't see it too often, to be honest. Like, against Skytoss, Queen, Ling, Infestor? Okay. Alright. Meanwhile, here we go. Overseer does dive into the main base. He sees the carrier on the way. JonSnow knows about the Skytoss. What is his response? You should throw down a Spire. He does not. He's going for a hive and just making Infestors. Bold move, JonSnow. I don't think I like it, but you know what? Prove me wrong, buddy. Prove me wrong. Prove to me that you can go up against carriers with Queens and Infestors, mate. Let's go. I mean, there is a world where this happens. Pathogen Glands is done. The Infestors will have pretty decent energy when they come out. So JonSnow can hit a timing before the carrier count gets out of control. The first carrier just came out. Like, it's not too bad for JonSnow. especially if he does land those fungals. I'm assuming fungals, maybe Microbial Shroud. There's no storm, so I could maybe. So out of the realm of possibility. Meanwhile, Hive is done and we see the Ultralisk Cavern on the way, and thankfully he is switching into Spire. He is switching into Corruptors. I was worried for a moment there, not going to lie. Meanwhile, here come the Void Rays. Ooh, already able to pick off one Queen. Oh no, the Disruptors are gonna go down to the Lynx. Oh god, +2. One Disruptor does go down, the second and third are going to go down as well. The Fungals do land, the Chain Fungals even. Oh my god. Another Fungal lands as well. TriGGeR tries to escape, and it looks like he will escape with the majority of his Sky Toss, but JonSnow engaged very well there. At the same time, it looked like some Banelings did connect in the third base. 15 workers do go down. Oh my, JonSnow with the best case scenario, catching the army in the middle of the map. He wasn't able to kill a lot of it though, but he was able to kill a lot of those workers here at the third. So TriGGeR is taking some economic damage. The problem is that this carrier count is not stopping. He has to be careful though. You don't want too many carriers. What I mean by that is that if you commit too hard to the carriers, mate, your opponent just needs to make Corruptors to focus them down and that's it. You still need a decent Void Ray count to protect them, to buffer for your carriers and zone out those Corruptors. And I worry that he may be lacking there a little bit. Also, you know, you don't want to neglect your ground army either. There's a delicate balance with the kind of army composition you want to go for. You know, Storm are amazing. Storms are great. High Templar, I should say, are great. Not just for Storm, but also for feedbacks. Like, there's a lot of potential here in these Infestors. You don't want to be caught out by those Fungals. So ideally, you want a decent amount of High Templar to feedback them. At the same time, mate, we're about to have +3 Lings. These Lings are going to be looking for those High Templar to dive on. Not just Lings, but also the Ultras. Oh boy, oh boy. So we shall see what JonSnow decides to go for here. JonSnow, he's working on his Spore Force, working on his Creep Spread. He's looking pretty good right now. He is lacking in some upgrades, like again, +1 fire attack is still on the way. Ideally, you have 2 Spires to get 2 upgrades at a time. As I say that, we do have a second Spire just behind the mineral line, so he can work on +1 fire armor as well. We do have Vipers popping out. They do need a little bit of time to gather that energy, but JonSnow, like, there's no time pressure right now. TriGGeR is just letting him do whatever he wants. JonSnow even taking the center northern base, essentially his entire half of the map. Honestly, this is something that TriGGeR should be doing. He should be expanding a little bit more aggressively. Now, finally, he's going for his 5th base, but there are Lings here to deny this. Yeah, they do deny the base. TriGGeR should be expanding a little bit better. He does have a decent mineral bank, so he can throw down pylons and cannons and shield batteries to defend his fringe bases. Oh boy. Here we go. Meanwhile, ooh, Neural Parasite on the way as well. I love this option from JonSnow. We've seen time and time again. Yo, as a Zerg player, how do you beat Sky Toss? With Sky Toss. Just Neural the carriers and you're good to go. So I love Neural on the way. Meanwhile, TriGGeR, he is switching into Tempest, which is great to zone out the army and get a couple of free shots off. Even working on that Tempest upgrade, which I'm not sure what the name of is, but I do know it does bonus damage against buildings. It does change the color of the auto attack, specifically against buildings. Meanwhile, Baneling run by. Oh god, the workers! No! There was no way out! Ay, ay, ay. Sorry. Oh god. Feels bad, man. I was just taking a sip of tea. Oh god. I mean, honestly, I really love JonSnow's army. Part of me wishes he had a couple less queens and a couple more corruptors, to be honest. But to each his own. Ooh, does catch a free Void Ray. Like this one, like JonSnow is maxed out. I feel like he needs more Corruptors. I feel like that should be the case. A lot of supplier in these queens. Like the problem with queens is they're great, but there's a lot to micro, right? You got a fungal, you have to parasitic bomb or or abduct, you have to transfuse. Like there's a lot to handle here for JonSnow. Can he pull it off? We'll find out. We'll find out. Here we go. All right, here comes the main army of TriGGeR. Oh god, the fungals miss, only land on one of these Void Rays. Meanwhile, so do the feedbacks. The ultras come in on their own. Not ideal whatsoever. Man, you gotta come in together, man. You gotta come in together. Kind of together. Ultras do want to lead the charge to try and get on top of those High Templar, but you also don't want to be losing ultras for free like that. Oh boy. Meanwhile, yo, JonSnow, he wants the army. He's diving on top of this. The ultras, they kind of get stuck at a choke point. Meanwhile, we do have some parasitic bombs landing on these carriers. The carriers, they need to split, puppy, split. And he just sits in it. He doesn't even care. Oh, and just like that, JonSnow lost every single... Oh, sorry. He didn't go in with his entire army. He lost a couple of Corruptors and a couple of Vipers there. Oh, and now it's go time for TriGGeR. TriGGeR does have this position on the high ground to fall back to in case things get a little bit too dicey. The queens are falling, which I think is a good thing for JonSnow. He wants to get rid of some of these queens. And the most forward base does go down. Here come a bunch of High Templar. They still need a little bit more time to gather that energy for Storm and for those feedbacks, I imagine. God, a lot of this creep is receding. More shield batteries are on the way. Boy, disruptor shot going off. JonSnow is getting ready to dive in from behind. He wants some of these carriers, and he will yoink one Tempest. Oh, but he loses his Vipers. Meanwhile, at the same time, looks like we had a bit of a bathing run by. Didn't get too much damage. Only 4 probes go down. And I'm worried. I just realized that was the last Viper. All the Vipers are gone. Instead, the Corruptors are diving in, but they do get stormed upon. Fungals do land. Beautiful Fungals on the entire army. But is it going to be enough? Because you know what? These shield batteries are here to keep the Skytoss alive. Oh my god. And just like that, almost every single Infestor goes down. All the Vipers were killed earlier. Only 2 Infestors remain. They barely have any energy. The Vipers pop out, but they need a little bit more time to suck on those buildings. The disruptor shots are landing. All these queens are falling. A lot of momentum in the way for TriGGeR right now. JonSnow, he needs to wait. He needs to wait for his next wave of units to pop out. And how much will he lose in the process? He's going to lose all these spores. It looks like this forward base will fall as well. The Viper does fall, but he does land the power bombs. Parasitic bombs are on top of the main army. They are out of position. He's not in the safety of those shield batteries. And it looks like these carriers are starting to fall. The Void Rays, mate, they're not here to protect against the Corruptors. Reposition, puppy, and he's forced to recall. JonSnow does take a massive win there. TriGGeR, he is forced back. And now, yo, the ultras can start mowing through these shield batteries. Again, TriGGeR, he was a little bit over eager there, fighting for a long time just away or just diving deep into creep. Really overstaying his welcome. But it's really difficult for JonSnow to keep pushing in. TriGGeR, he has time to remax. I just realized that TriGGeR, he is out of gas. Oh no, TriGGeR, he has no gas. He barely has any gas income right now. He is prioritizing it. Oh, this is why. He's not mining gas at his 4th. Earlier, this was hit by a bailing run by, and I guess he just never retook them. God, here comes JonSnow focusing down at the Nexus. Carriers are forced away. Bailings do connect with the shield batteries. But again, JonSnow was having a hard time really pressing his advantage just because of how turtled up TriGGeR is, and TriGGeR hasn't been able to buy a lot of time to rebuild his army. My god, this base is ridiculous, by the way. Does TriGGeR see it? He does. He does know about it. Bit of a Zealot run by. Again, TriGGeR has a lot of minerals to work with, so why not go for Zealot run bys? Just trading as best you can. Meanwhile, ooh, here come the Corruptors. Plenty of Infestors this time, plenty of energy. Void Ray scopes. That they do, mate, that they do. But he needs more Void Rays. He needs more army in general. He's still down 30 supply. Mate, I'm getting triggered by this base. Mate, you gotta do something about it. Here we go. Here come the Void Rays. At the same time, we have a Zealot run by towards the north. Only one spine. So damage could be done. Oh, meanwhile, you have to be careful not to be surrounded. Oh my god, here comes JonSnow. The Fungals, they land. Oh god, they land beautifully. A couple of feedbacks do land as well, but it is not enough. Fungal plus Power Bomb, that's what you want as a Zerg player, and the entire Skytos army will go down. Everything just like that. 100 supply, essentially 100 supply gone in the blink of an eye. Sure, these Zealots are dealing a lot of damage, but mate, TriGGeR cannot remax. Like, he's trying his best. Like, his full, all of his Stargates are producing at a time right now. And yo, JonSnow is actually being distracted by these Zealots. I'm honestly surprised. But I think this is fine. Like, JonSnow is maxed out. TriGGeR, like, he barely has anything left to defend. TriGGeR, oh my god. You know what would have been great for TriGGeR? An observer. Just a way to clear up all this creep and make it safer to harass this base. Meanwhile, JonSnow, he's just clearing up all these harassment forces. Finally, some Zealots do take out this base, but again, does it really matter? What matters right now is JonSnow's army. Sorry, TriGGeR's army. JonSnow needs to do something about it, by the way. He's being so passive right now. Here come the Lings, here come the Ultras. It looks like these shoe batteries are going to be going down. Brood Lords are coming in. We have plenty of Corruptors. Vipers finally show up with energy. And here come the Infestors. The whole squad is here. Oh boy. Meanwhile, these Zealots are, again, dealing a surprising amount of damage, to be honest. More damage than they should be, but at the end of the day, JonSnow doesn't care. He's sieging upon the bases of TriGGeR. These are bases that TriGGeR cannot afford to lose. Meanwhile, JonSnow can afford to lose these hatcheries. For the most part. Ooh, he does back off with his Corruptors. He's exposing his Broodlords a little bit. But TriGGeR, he's just scared. He's terrified. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. Oh boy, as more Broodlords are being morphed in. Is there a way for TriGGeR to come back? If he catches all these Broodlords alone, again, they are isolated, maybe. Again, if he's able to catch the army in these small, like, segments, then sure, but oh my god, the Fungals, they land. Oh my god. The chain Fungals at that. Meanwhile, so do the parasitic bombs. TriGGeR, please split up your Void Ray. I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much. They do return to the safety of the shield batteries. At the same time, these Broodlords are just going ham towards the top right-hand side of the map. As the Nexus does fall, the Void Rays finally show up, and they are going to be focusing down these Broodlords as best they can, which is great. But again, this is not enough. The Corruptors, mate, they see those Void Rays. They want them, mate. Meanwhile, here come the Corruptors and the High Templars to back them up. Nicely done. A couple of free Broodlords go down, and TriGGeR is able to keep his Void Rays safe. But for how much longer can TriGGeR keep this up? Like, honestly, I believe that JonSnow could just dive in with these Corruptors. I mean, he would take a lot of storms to the face, which I understand he's afraid of. But you don't want to allow your opponent to get back into the game. To be fair, he isn't. He's containing his opponent to 4 bases. He's done a really good job at taking out these nexuses. So I guess this is okay for JonSnow. He's not throwing. Not yet, anyway. Not yet. Yo, these zealots, though. And here come the corruptors once again. No shield batteries here, no cannons. I mean, there is energy for storm. Oh, feedbacks the vipers, nice, but here come the infestors. Meanwhile, it looks like all the void rays went towards the south. They will be able to get this base, or they should get this base. Meanwhile, TriGGeR may lose his own here. Oh my god, the carriers are all exposed. Oh my god, they get fungled, and all these carriers and Tempest will go down. The corruptors, they just dive forward. Meanwhile, the ultras get on top of the High Templar. Storms do land, but there's only enough energy for one more storm. Oh my god, TriGGeR, he just barely escapes with 1 carrier and 2 Tempests. At the same time, the void rays are putting in some work, putting in a lot of work here, but it's TriGGeR has been dying for the past 10 minutes. It's really, really the tale of this game. A couple of free corruptors, which is great and all, you know, a whiffed fungal. The broodlords are exposed. Oh, very exposed. Oh my god, these broodlords are gonna go down for free. Corruptors are diving in. Ooh, but we do have a couple of High Templar to zone with these storms. But those were the last High Templar. And they do fall. That's it. That's it for the High Templar. No more storms, no more feedbacks. TriGGeR is still struggling to take another base. And you know what? Let's just check the bracket. We may be here for a while. All right, there we go. We got a Zealot run by. It gets cleaned up by the Lings. Meanwhile, the main Protoss army is hitting the northern base here. I mean, it does allure JonSnow as to where it is. So JonSnow, like, he wants to try and catch this army. I kind of want JonSnow to, like, long distance mine this mineral patch. Like, if he did, like, he would have so much more maneuverability with his infestors. It'd be insane. It's long distance mine, mate. Let's go for it. Oh boy. And I've been here before. We're 30 minutes in, and I've been in a PvZ. It was on Eternal Empire, where the Zerg player was maxed out and had double the supply. And the thing is that JonSnow doesn't really know how big the army of TriGGeR is. Like, he's respecting TriGGeR's army far too much. He thinks TriGGeR is in a really good, like, position right now, and he's like, I don't want to throw, right? So he's like being very slow, being very conservative when he's double the armor supply, you know? Like, it isn't JonSnow's fault. He just doesn't know. That being T-Ball versus Risky. That was an hour-long game, by the way. On Eternal Empire. Where T-Ball was at 100 supply and Risky was maxed out. It's during ANZ Champs last year. Oh boy. And we may just see JonSnow just continue to spread creep, get a Spore Forest up, and we may be here for a while. We may be here for a while longer. I don't want to say it, but we're gonna be here for a while, guys. Unless something happens. But yes, for the people wondering, this is a qualifying match, and this is in the upper bracket. The winner of this series qualifies. The loser is not out of the qualifier. The loser does get knocked down to the losers bracket, or the lower bracket. They will have another chance to qualify. Oh god, and here comes JonSnow. Bailey's that rushed in. And they do connect with the mineral line. Oh my god. 17 probes go down. Ay, ay, ay. And now JonSnow. He's still just looking around for an opportunity to strike. TriGGeR, he's getting a mothership. Let's go. Will it make a difference? Maybe. Probably not. Meanwhile, we just see a dance between the players. Oh, finally, we're going in. Do you get a yoink on the Tempest? The Tempest falls. Come on, show us more, show us more. He's afraid, he's respecting these High Templar. Honestly, like, does JonSnow not have any ultras? Oh, let's have a look at the units tab. Let's have a look at this. There we go. JonSnow's got 40 Corruptors, 7 Infestors, no ultras, 4 Broodlords. Because JonSnow's maxed out, I was about to say, if he did have ultras, like, he could just dive in. Now it's too late because there's a mothership, but he could just dive in on top of these High Templar. But meanwhile, here comes another Bane run by more probes going down the... Oh my god, the feedbacks are on point. He does yoink the mothership. Minus 400, minus 400. And we... TriGGeR GG's out. Oh my god, JonSnow breaks the spirit of TriGGeR, and TriGGeR, he knows that he can't come back. GG. JonSnow will qualify, will advance on to the DreamHack main event.